That 10 o'clock, not even late. All righty. Good morning, guys. It is Dr. Mo, and I'm live on TikTok and at watchdrmo.com. It is, and I can't see it because I'm on the wrong channel. So if you go to watchdrmo.com, you can ask questions in there, put them in the chat. If you are one of our patients, head over to school at AMS privategroup.com, and the links are in the calendar up above. I definitely need to do a training video on school for our patients, because sometimes it's hard to find where things are. So, all right, let's get started. So just so if you don't know who I am, if you don't follow my crap, I am Dr. Mo. I founded a practice called Active Medical Solutions, which is exactly what it sounds like. We solve problems. Hopefully we have answers for you. Oh, got some more people coming in the waiting room. I don't have a co-host for about 15 more minutes, so I'm going to be wearing all the hats for a minute. Neil will be here shortly. I know Amanda's working, but I know Neil will be here in a minute. So, Courtney, I'm not sure if she's working. I did not check the schedule. So if you have questions on TikTok, throw them in the comments. If you are on YouTube, throw them in the comments. And if you're on Zoom, because if you're one of our patients, you get a direct Zoom link. Good morning, Annette. If you get on Zoom, then just put them in the chat. So if I could actually get to the correct YouTube account, that'd be great. Then I can see the chat. There we go. Here we are. All right. So if these could be GLP-1 questions, these could be lifestyle questions. Why do I recommend such high protein? I actually had someone comment the other day to me, you really don't need that much protein. Well, it depends. It depends what your goals are, right? I don't need to work as hard as I do either, but I have goals that are higher than some people. And I actually figured this out with coaching too. Hi, Gina. So I figured it out with coaching that I had some clients that weren't a good fit because I weren't kind of vetting them in the beginning. Oh, hold on, Gabby had a comment. So, when you join my high level coaching, so I have a medical practice that is within certain states. I have a lifestyle coaching practice that is nationwide. If you're a patient with AMS, you essentially get you get $100 off a month. So it essentially negates part of the cost, which is my goal. Now, the key is you have to be willing to work, and you have to want change, right? So anyway, that's my little good morning, Veronica. That's my little spiel. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I missed your if I miss your comment, yell at me later. So Gabby said, I did my second dose of 10 and still having all the cravings. Any hope that will change? Yes, there is all the hope that will change, because some people just do not hit their stride, and it's not predictable. We have had 400-pound men who never have to go above 2.5 and 140-pound women who have to stay on 15 for 3 months before they start to get their body reequilibrated to actually feel the effects of these medications. So in our patient group, it's very, very widespread, the results that we get. Now, the results are not. If you stay with us and do what we tell you, you will get results, period. Hold on, let me get rid of the spammers. Nice to see you. Even if you're a spammer, we'll take it. Just give me a like before you go. And you guys, oh, there's Neil. Hold on. Is Neil keeping this up? Neil, are you in the waiting room too? He might be in the waiting room. I'm trying to check 3 things all at once, or unless he's keeping this up during his, there we go. He might be just keeping it up during his appointment. It's quite possible. Oh yeah, it's Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. We are not normally here on Mondays, but I'm out of town tomorrow. So thank you everyone for tolerating the change. We always, the tagline for the podcast that Nicole Baldwin and I do, let me see if I can get Neil on here again. Okay, there we go. Is lifestyle medicine isn't just for the patients, because I will not expect you to do something as my client or my patient that I don't do myself. So, I don't do that anymore. I used to be able to coach the hell out of people for nutrition, but I was 50 pounds overweight, 55 pounds, by the way, settled in about 55 pounds less than the start. So, I'll be able to respond to everyone more quickly as soon as Neil gets on here. So give us the likes, give us the shares. If you want to be a patient, let's go through this. Number one, this is not medical advice. This is TikTok and YouTube and social media. Yes, very interesting, Gina. It has been a road with patients. Some respond super fast. I was lucky, and which was great because most of the people who end up on these medications are at the end of the rope, right? So Jesus, they need a lifeline. I can be that lifeline until the medications can pick up, right? And that's why I started the high level coaching program. I call it high level. It's not expensive. That's for damn sure. There is a high level coaching that is more expensive, but that actually gets people toward financial freedom as well, not just the lifestyle part. So the lifestyle coaching is extremely affordable. If you want to get information on that, go to drmocoaching.com or just send me the word success in the DMs and I'll get back to you. Yes, Gina, 2 weeks. That is our policy as well. Some doctors will only say to be off before a procedure for 1 week, but we have had such variability, like I said, in people's response to the medication that we actually tell people 2 weeks to make sure, because the biggest thing is do no harm, right? So we don't want complications from reflux, and nobody wants puke in their lungs. Let's be honest, even if it's just gastric juices, that's the worst word ever. Can we call it something else? Anyway, nobody wants shit in their lungs. Hold on, I gotta make this brighter. Okay, it won't go any brighter. We're just gonna have to sit here in the dark today. All right. So Ryan, I'm on 7.5 Zepbound, only lost 10 pounds in 2 months. Should I go up? So it's a hell of a question. If you look at my Instagram stories from last night, I got a graph from a patient who is losing steadily 2 pounds a month. Now that we're dialed in, right? It took us a while. I mean, he's a high level coaching. He is actually my highest level coaching. So we work on everything. And he is at his lightest weight in 30 years. Now, if you think about 5 pounds a month, right? And I know we always say, oh, look, 10 months down the road, you're 50 pounds down. Yes, I get that. But the point is, if it's steady, you can actually track, you can learn your metrics. This patient that I popped up the graph for is a numbers guy. He weighs at night, he weighs in the morning, because he actually wants to know what his metabolism is overnight. I mean, I'm talking, this is a science dude. So treat it that way. Let's treat it as data. You want 5 pounds a month. Should you go up? I don't know. If you were my patient, we would ask, how are you feeling? How are your side effects? Are you having any side effects? Can you afford it? Right? Because that is a valid concern. So things like that. So personally, I was a rapid responder and I had a ton of inflammation. If I didn't post mine before and after my 2-week experiment there, I probably should have, because people are like, what the friggin' hell? The friends that I've sent it to are like, oh my God, that's 2 weeks. It looks like 6 months. I'm like, I know, because of what I changed in my diet. So anyhow, that's another story, but I got to get to people's questions first. Jen said, insurance made me switch from Manjaro to Trulicity. Can I compare the two? Let me see if I can. I want to get you Trulicity. So they are both in the GLP-1 class. Okay. Is dulaglutide, give me 1 second, because there's one prescribing information. I want the doctor information. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm actually glad I read this, because I did not know Trulicity was approved for pediatric patients 10 years and up. And thank you, because I'm studying for a board exam. So I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so it is more similar to semaglutide, but it is a precursor to semaglutide. So they're both weekly, right? So dulaglutide, the very first GLP-1s were daily, and then we went to weekly, and dulaglutide is kind of the first one that achieved some decent blood sugar control. I shouldn't say decent, that's me being melodramatic. So it's used in diabetics. Now, will it work for you? We actually have quite a few people on early GLP-1s that have great results. It's not the norm. It wasn't seen in the studies as being a huge weight loss drug. How do we know that? Because it didn't bust the whole internet and the whole world wide open and save so many of us, right? So it's less effective than Manjaro. Manjaro is a GLP-1 plus a GIP receptor agonist. So you've got the two receptors hit, and that synergy does make it a better drug. Now, does that mean Trulicity is not worth it? It depends. Like, are you still 100 pounds overweight? Are you at maintenance? How are you doing on the rest of the things? Kind of like I said, we at AMS, we focus a lot on, so at Active Medical Solutions, if you're a patient, we work a lot on lifestyle management. With my coaching, I take that and throw it on steroids. And I make you do things that, and it's not crazy, right? Like I'm not making you bungee jump, right? But I am making you change. And that's why I actually did a video this morning, like, hey guys, if you're not ready to change, don't come see me. Okay. Because I want success. And if you want success, I want to get it for you. No, we're a little bit more lax with that with AMS, but I'll be honest, the people that want a magic pill leave our practice because we work really hard. We work really hard to, let me make Neil co-host so we can let people in. There's my co-host. So we work really hard at AMS to work with our patients, not just with medication optimal dosing. Oh, you're outside too, Neil. How perfect.
Nice this morning.
Hold on, let me get you turned up so people can hear you. And I can't get you up. I can't get you on the screen on TikTok. I keep inviting you and you keep ignoring me.
I don't know why, because it said like literally I went to open my phone and I was calling one of the patients because the system won't work this morning. And you were there. I'm like, this is super weird because I literally was dialing on my phone and I hit send and it was
so weird.
It literally was calling and all of a sudden you were there. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so B Young so somebody asked about comparing Trulicity and Manjaro because of insurance concerns, and B Young said Trulicity didn't work for me. I have lots of boxes of Trulicity left. It happens. And sometimes they'll make you take it on the way to Manjaro as a diabetic. Oh, what was I going to ask you, Neil? There was something in my brain. Something in my brain. It's gone. And we're gone. Oh, what system wasn't working?
Our what is that called? Doxy.
Okay. So, and like, was it my system? No. Okay, good.
No, it was Doxy. And it was so like first it was like she couldn't connect the video or the sound, which is fine. But then it was so zoomed in, I could see like this part of her. I'm like, and it wasn't her, it was my computer automatically zooming it in. So when I go to chat her, I'm like, I'll call you. I literally could see like two numbers. It was just this huge, and I'm like,
okay.
Yeah. Even decreasing the size of my screen, it was still now it's four numbers. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong.
Yeah. Like, hold on, I'm just gonna call you.
There's something wrong.
Whatever. So, yeah, so the older, I mean, that's what, because one thing I was just saying is that the older the diabetes GLP-1s like Byetta, Byduron, Trulicity, even Victoza, which became Saxenda, which was the first weight loss drug, because that was the first one in studies that we started to see actually decent weight loss. So, it's, if insurance will pay for it, you can try it, right? Like B Young said, but it doesn't often work for people for this purpose. And the thing is, if you're a diabetic, the excess fat that you carry does not help your diabetes. So we believe it needs to be a comprehensive picture, not just attacking. And I'm not an endocrinologist. We do lifestyle medicine, which means we care about the end outcome as well, not just numbers. So like when I'm talking about weight, I'm not talking about goal weight and goal body fat, unless you're like me. Okay. It depends what your goals are. Right? I mean, we have pretty lofty goals. One thing I did also say, Neil, is that I won't ask anybody to do in coaching or at AMS that I don't do myself. So, and we're there, right? Finally, there you go. Now I got you. All right. So somebody asked, hold on, there we go. I can't, okay. Invitation is sent. I'm on 1 ml of Ozempic. I'm going to go milligram. Okay. We'll just speak this in milligram. 1 milligram Ozempic now for 2 months and don't want to go up, but I feel so anxious and eating the whole fridge. So why don't you want to go up? That's the next question. Unless you're on compounded. Well, no, why don't you want to go up? I mean, that's really what. And what are you anxious about? Are you anxious about going up, or what are you anxious about? we can go back to, since we're not in the ER, we can go back to open-ended questions. And this is not technically asynchronous. So since we're synchronous, we can ask open-ended questions. Asynchronous, we can't. Asynchronous is too hard. I don't know, Neil. I keep asking and it just keeps sitting. All right, guys, keep liking the live and sharing the live. So if you want to go be a patient or check out our states, go to amstelehealth.com. Please follow Neil so we can see a larger Neil than the orange circle.
Yeah, it's not a little big.
What'd you say?
I don't know why that's not a little bigger.
Right, like they could really like help you out a little bit. Just at least show your face, like rather than doxy.me face, you know?
That's not even that big. Doxy's face is bigger than that.
Right.
Hi, Linda.
So yes, if you want to be our patient or you want to see what states that we practice in, go to amstelehealth.com. And if you want to get in the second hour of this live, it is paid. So here's the thing. When I do private coaching, it's paid. And I only want people who are ready to change, ready to go. If you're ready to go and you want to change, send me a DM. Do it on Instagram for me. Okay. I know it's a pain in the ass, but send me a DM on Instagram. I can get it done 10 times faster and I can actually get you in for the second live at 11 o'clock. I can't do it on TikTok. It was a headache. Now, if you must send it on TikTok, send me a DM on TikTok. Okay.
Be young. I went from 7 to 5 or 5 to 7.5 compounded tirzepatide on impulse because I gained a pound. I hope that wasn't so wrong. Not necessarily. I mean, if you were gaining, I mean, it could have just been fluid or gut contents, like whatever, poop, basically. It's also, you know, if you were not having side effects and your appetite wasn't all the way controlled, no problem. So, I mean, the big thing, as long as you're not actually just like vomiting and horribly sick, that's not a wrong decision.
Yeah.
So no worries there.
Yeah. I mean, if you're our patient, we're like, and you're, so I kind of talked about this on one of my videos the other day. I think it was a story, maybe it was a reel. I don't know. I just say shit wherever I feel like at that moment. And what happened was, you know, like I'll be going along pretty well. My diet quality is very good and I only need 5. But some weeks I'm like, okay. Or if I need to get things under control, or because I don't do it for weight gain so much, because my weight gain is a result of my behaviors. And my behaviors are a result of my messy brain, right? So we need to get it at the top of the food chain, so to speak, unintended. But we need to move to the head of the class to actually create the trickle down effect so you don't gain weight. The question is why, like Neil said, is it just fluid or is your brain crazy and you're eating ice cream every day? You know, so, you know, and I'm not saying eating ice cream every day is wrong, guys, just, or you know what, you could go ahead, be a hater, gets me more engagement. That's fine too.
Yeah, no side effects, but now the food noise stopped. Perfect. So you did the right thing.
Yes, that's exactly it. Because that's what you need. When the brain is like a shit show up there, and sometimes you don't need an extra, like you don't need that high of a dose forever. It's like I'm back down to 5 this morning because it's Manjaro Monday. Every morning, except this morning I was running late and I couldn't take it at 7:30. I had to take it at 9:30.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think there's an echo. It might be because I'm on my phone, but
I just muted you on TikTok. So did it go away?
Yeah, for some reason it won't let me on both. Usually I'm on my computer and my phone, and it's refusing to let me do that today.
Okay. All right. So somebody asked me, hold on, something. If the dose isn't doing as much as I want, anxious for food. Well, if you're trying to stay on the same dose as long, oh, hi, Maggie. If you're trying to stay on the same dose as long as you can, but it's not working, go up. It's not medical advice. But if you're, you know,
We would put our patients up. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were our patient, we would discuss, as long as you're not having side effects, right? And as long as you can, you know, whatever. But talk to your provider about going up in dose, because if you're taking a medication that it's not working for you, and then people start to worry, well, what if I'm up to the highest with Ozempic and it's 2 milligrams and that won't work? Okay, we'll figure it out when we get there. But that's double the dose you're taking. So I wouldn't worry about it till we get there. And I got a whole bunch of hate in the very beginning of this journey when I did a video on that's a future me problem. I can't deal with it today. I got so many haters on that video. It was like, you have to look ahead. Oh my God, you guys, I am the most ridiculous, annoying ahead planner ever. And you can't see Neil on TikTok, but he is shaking his head vehemently. I'm annoying as hell. I mean, it's like I have Venn diagrams. I've got flow charts in my head. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? What about this? What about this? I can't. I got to back myself up, and think, can I control it today? No. What do I know today? My food noise is shit. It's not, but I'm saying for other people, my food noise is terrible. Okay. What can I do about that? Number 1, protein in the morning. Number 2, hydration with electrolytes. Number 3, go up in dose. Easy, right? Just do that. Do the things that save your life. Do we have a monthly membership? We do have monthly fees for medical services because our medical practice has a ton of extra resources that are not meant to be optional. And those are the patients we want to attract. We want to attract the ones that want to learn, the ones that want to change, and the ones that want to achieve better success than they ever could have imagined. So same with my coaching. And there's no contract though. Like we don't charge you for 3 months up front. You can have to join for 6 months. If you hate us, you're done. Okay. Yeah. We're easy. And the same with my coaching. I only want people who are, and I say they want to move beyond burnout, but it's not just about work, right? I mean, the biggest source of burnout for me when I wrote my book in 2020, 2021, I published in 2021, the biggest source of burnout for me was food. I could not control my food. It was out of control. It was so much weight on my body, my soul. I was dying. And I had to revamp a lot of things, which is what I did. And yes, it also translated to work, but food was my number 1 issue. So burnout isn't just from work. Anyway, I'm looking for people who are like sick and tired of being sick and tired and want to move past it. There is a monthly fee for that. I've got spots left at $100 off a month. You're locked into that rate for as long as you stay. Okay. So, and if you're an AMS patient, you always get $100 off a month with my coaching. So you get both for the same price as regular coaching. All right.
There's one, KK Cool. I have experienced frozen shoulder, muscle, and joint pain. Has anybody else?
Funny thing you mentioned that about the frozen shoulder. Because I've had this shoulder issue for, I don't know, Neil, you know this.
Ever,
right? That I can't move it back here. Like I can't. Now, do I think it's because of the Manjaro? Because it started, I guess, probably a year into treatment. No, I don't. I think it's generalized inflammation and impingement because over the last 2 weeks where I have gotten rid of all added sugars, I don't have all added sugars gone now. I do have some processed food back in, but very little. It's a whole lot better. I can put my phone on the charger on the nightstand. Ridiculous. I'm a little pissy about it, right? Because that means I have to do the things. But I can't tell you how much better I feel. Neil, I was telling them, I didn't send you the before and after for the 16 days. My dad was like, the one on the left looks like when you started 50 pounds ago. And I'm like, no, that was 123 pounds. That's inflammation. That's doughy. I said, this is without sugar. And he's like, holy shit. My dad doesn't really swear. He's probably on here now. You don't swear that much, Dad. But it was incredible. It was incredible. And you know how much, do you want to know how little I have no trouble not eating after dinner? Like, sigh. I didn't want it to be true, Neil. I didn't want it to be true. But it's true. But yes, as far as the joint aches, though, that can be mitigated by just hydration with electrolytes. For me, that's just. If I do, yeah, isn't it weird? And when you get weird skin stuff, like when your skin is like, like the flu skin where everything hurts, my hair hurts. Hydration with electrolytes, 1 Body Armor Light. And I don't splurge for the tropical coconut. I get the cheapy ones from Costco. Wah, wah. I have to do the peach mango.
Periwinkle asked, has any human, 2 questions actually, gotten thyroid cancer or any kind of cancer while on semaglutide? From the medicine? Has someone gotten it? I'm sure. but not related to the medication. It was already there.
Yeah. But if you're Mickey Mouse, do not take this if you've got a history of medullary thyroid carcinoma.
Only in rats, rodents. And then she's been on semaglutide for 2 weeks now, and only lost 2 pounds, and food noise is the same. So one, you got to give it a little chance. Like we've had patients like, start the first month, it doesn't do anything and then quit, and they're missing out on an amazing medication. So I would not quit yet. It is possible you're just not at your dose. Like you just need to be a little bit higher dosing before you get really good effect. Some people just don't get that food noise decrease on semaglutide. That's more Mounjaro tirzepatide product that really have that. But I've had patients say it shuts it off completely. So you're just not at your dose is my guess, especially if you don't have appetite control for most of the week, if not all the week. There's still work to be done. So don't quit.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Don't quit. I am 2 years into this journey, 2 years and 1 month to be exact, yesterday. And I just know the date. So it's not like I keep track of that on a regular basis. And I just gave up added sugar, guys. And I didn't give up, like I spent 2 weeks without it at all. And I'll still do some enjoyment thing, like very special occasion things, but I feel so much better. I don't want it. I feel so much better. But it took me 2 years, guys. Remember, I've been fighting. So, oh my God, the TikTok thing did the DoxyMe thing to me, Neil. Now people can just see my face. Oh my God, what is up with that?
Yeah, mine like glitched real quick, and then it was something weird. Like,
okay, well, I'm not putting my face in here because look how huge my face is. Nobody needs to see that.
You look okay to me. You look normal on my TikTok.
Okay, all right. So if I look normal, no, but it's also like off center. What the frig just happened? Oh, for God's sake. You see, okay, do you guys see me like normal on TikTok? Because if you see me normal, I'm bringing the comments up and so I can't see my face. Okay, there we go. That way, if you can't see my face, perfect. All right, carry on. What the hell was I saying? I got distracted by all of a sudden it like zoomed into like half of my face. I'm like, what the frig? Stop. Okay. This is, I swear to God. I just need to get everyone on Zoom and that's it.
We keep going. Periwinkle, doctor, I'm 5 foot tall, and I saw in the BMI calculator that even if I get down to 95 pounds, it's considered a normal BMI and not underweight. Is that true? When I calculate it real quick, it puts it at 18.6. So I would say it's a little underweight, but number one, it's kind of like a gauge. Like I wouldn't, it's not gospel is what I would consider it. Cause like myself right now, I'm obese. If you look at my height and my weight, but I'm full of muscle. So that number doesn't mean anything to me. Other than it allows me to get medication I shouldn't get because for whatever reason, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
I qualify for Mounjaro or for Zepbound.
Right. Can you get it for a friend? Just asking.
Yeah, you kind of get there and you kind of like see where you're at. Because a lot of patients we have, like they'll have like an initial goal and then some will get there and then want to go a little farther because they're like, no, I think I can lose more. And others get like 10 pounds to it. They're like, I don't want to lose any more weight. If I lose any more weight, I'll feel sickly and I won't feel good or I won't think I look good. I'm too thin. So it's a moving target. So you might actually get to, 104 pounds and you're like, I'm perfect here. This is exactly where I want to stay. I don't want to lose anything. But if you get down to 95 pounds and you have lots of muscle and you're lean, like, that number doesn't mean as much.
Right. Well, because right now I'm sitting right about 115. And before when I was 115, it was because I was stressed and depleted and I did not feel good. Now, because I've done it in a healthy way, eating lots of protein and replenishing and working out, I feel great. Like I did not think I would want to be this light, but I feel great. So it's it's a gauge, like Neil said, it's a gauge. And yes, across populations, it does tell you your propensity for disease. And you're looking at you, like, if you go to watchdrmo.com, you look at Neil, he's obese by numbers, but dude, like you can see a human being, right? So we always look at the human being, not just the numbers. And that's what we do as a practice. So anyhow,
you have to. Doctors don't do that. Like I've been told by my doctor, like you need to lose weight. I'm like, where? I mean, I can. I mean, I get in like
pocket of body fat. Would you like me to get rid of?
Where?
Like
honestly, once you go under 10%, it's uncomfortable to maintain that for most people.
Right. If you're a dude, keep it at 10 to 12. You can live your life, and it's healthy. 10 to 12% body fat is fine. So somebody is saying MCV 98 question mark. Are you talking your blood test? Because that's a super isolated number. Are you worried because it's at the high end? Neil, is there a supplement? I'm thinking doctor speak here. So is there a supplement that's MCV that I don't know
I
about?
know of.
Oh yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, drinker, then we're sorry.
Yeah, I get
Yeah, do
mean
you drink
alcohol.
alcohol?
Yeah, that's all I get out of that.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I get is so yeah, they said yes, it's a blood test. If it's a blood test, how much alcohol do you drink? Because that's your big deal. Okay, if you don't, I wouldn't worry about it. So, oh, sure.
All right.
Hi, Pat. You're outside too. So our patients are on Zoom. So if you want to be our patient, go to amstelehealth.com. Come be our patient. You have to be in our states to be a patient. For my coaching, you don't have to be in. The only state you have to be in is a state of being willing to change.
Bye. Hold on. I'll be right back, Mom.
No, I got to take people that want to change because I want people who are engaged. All right, Neil has to pause. All right, so let's see. What kind of questions do we have? Oh, I don't have my chat up in Zoom. I was hoping. Thank you, Pat. See, now I didn't have my chat up. There we go. All right. Mary, oh, we missed this. Hold on. Currently 15 milligrams for 3 weeks, 1 year on tirzepatide, 45 pounds down, wheelchair dependent, will start second year. That's amazing. That's amazing because it allows you to make changes, allows your body to stay healthier, right? Because you can't do the lower extremity weight bearing exercises that a lot of us have the luxury of being able to do. Kathy, this is a great question. Is someone in heart failure a candidate for GLP-1? So in my obesity medicine board studying travels, I learned some really good things and had some great lectures by physicians that are in medical centers. When they're doing heart transplants, some of those patients, they will actually do a gastric bypass at the same time, which I found that extraordinary because the excess body fat puts such a strain on your heart. So now it's obviously it's a loaded question because I can't answer that. Like, I don't know if you're in high output, low output heart failure, sort of depends. Because if you're fluid restricted, it makes things a little bit more difficult but yes and no. So I'll use my grandmother as an example. She died from complications of heart failure and was not she wasn't huge based on most people's standards. Okay. She was definitely clinically obese. EF at 30. Yeah, I know what I would say. I just don't want to say it on TikTok. Yeah, I said I wanted medical advice, but I would definitely talk to your doctor about getting yourself metabolically under control to get a better body composition to support your heart, to let your heart work, to let the pumping that your heart does be more effective. That sound better? So talk to the doctor about getting their body to a better size, therefore their heart doesn't have to work as hard, right? So my grandmother, her heart had to push against a shit ton of dead weight and it killed her. That's the short version. It's horrible. It made her anyway, we don't need to talk about it. Yeah, I would just tell him to, see if he can find an obesity medicine doctor or talk to the cardiologist. Because it has a ton of, if you're on semaglutide, it's actually been proven to have, which is a component of tirzepatide. So I assume it transfers over. Semaglutide has also been shown to have cardiovascular benefits. So a lot of cardiologists are definitely prescribing this. So I would say yes. Gamma said, has anyone experienced random bruising not at the injection site? No, it should not be a side effect. If that's the case, I would go for blood testing to make sure that you don't have some sort of underlying something else, or you are nutrient deficient because your intake has changed, right? Sometimes, like, we always recommend a multivitamin. Kathy, yeah, I agree. Yeah, same. It's just your heart's tired. Let his heart chill a little bit, work a little better, live a little longer. You get to keep him around. If I, yeah, could have given this to my grandma, I would have. I absolutely would have. She's a big reason I do this. So, but as far as the bruising, I would go to your doctor and get lab tests because depending on, I would also look at your food intake, start a multivitamin while you're waiting for, now I would get the lab test before you take the multivitamin, right? And then I would start a multivitamin, just nothing's crazy, Flintstones, right? Chewable, so it's easily digested. If it were me, and I was like, what is these random bruises? I would go get blood tests, and I don't like waiting to get shit done, which is why I do telehealth. I would go to any labs now. I would get a CBC and a coagulation panel. And I would say, all right, here's my baseline. Let me start the multivitamin. Let's see if it improves clinically, less bruising. And then go see a doctor and say, here's what I had. Here's my labs. Here's what I've been doing. It looks like it's getting better. Here's my labs, a month after or whatever. Unless you have like bleeding from your mouth, nose, eyes, that's a freaking ER visit. All right. Hello. Would an overweight 66-year-old male with stage 1 prostate cancer and DVT be a candidate for this med? So contraindications to this medication are severe gastrointestinal disease like gastroparesis, severe, okay? History of medullary thyroid carcinoma or multiple endocrine neoplasia. I'm listing these in my head because none of these are there. Or on another GLP-1. And that's really it. Now, the difference, it depends how the DVT is treated, right? So this is why you need to go to a regular doctor. And not that I'm not a regular doctor. I am a regular doctor. I'm just not your regular doctor on TikTok. Because we need to make sure that you're not on a medication that's affected by this medication, right? So if you take a warfarin pill, it may not digest the same and your blood may not be thin enough to protect you against the DVT. If you're on Eliquis, or it just depends, right? So that's kind of what we need to look at. That was a lot. You're welcome for the coagulation. That was a big coagulation lesson right there for everybody. All right, let me make Neil co-host again. Neil is back. Neil, we were just talking about coagulation.
Ooh,
Don't let me go by myself. This is what happens when I go by myself. I start talking about coagulation on TikTok.
What?
Well, somebody asked me about easy bruising and then DVT. So it was like, it was right there. It was a great little lecture. Can I take hormone replacement and tirzepatide together? We have people doing it, not contraindicated. Like I said, there's really not much that's contraindicated with these meds. Is the compounded tirzepatide and branded name have the same side effects? I have both.
I would say yes, they're the same side effects, unless it's mixed with something else that gives you another side effect. Usually the admixtures are so small, they shouldn't cause a problem. But like sometimes like L-carnitine can cause some nausea, NAD, same thing, some nausea. B12 sometimes keeps people awake at night. So if they take their shot or like that first day they take their shot or that evening, sometimes they have trouble sleeping. But that's usually the only thing I would say you get a side effect from, and it's the mixture. But otherwise, the tirzepatide itself, the molecule that you actually want, same side effects, whether it's generic, it's not even generic, compounded or brand name.
You almost had a little slip there, Neil.
I would have got a cease and desist letter.
Right? Yes, because we are fully aware that tirzepatide, it actually shouldn't even be called tirzepatide. It should be called whatever the chemical name is with the 85 numbers again on it, because it is really the base chemical that is used to make tirzepatide by Eli Lilly. So
It's plus, it's T
but it's like,
plus
it's like the artist formerly known as Prince, right? Like it's how we roll. We all call him Prince and it's all we do.
Don't even get me started on him.
What'd you
Fentanyl.
say?
Fentanyl.
I know, right? Fucking drugs. Oh shit, we're gonna get in trouble on TikTok.
Oh boy. Don't do
right.
fentanyl, people.
Yeah. Just don't do illegal stuff, right? How's that? Start there. Don't do illegal stuff and don't eat too much sugar. What are the major side effects I should be aware of? God bless you on not trolling the internet, because if you troll the internet, it looks like everyone's dying from these medications. They're not. The vast majority just aren't complaining on the internet.
I think it might be the beginning because people were like, it was a race to get to the top. So every single month they were going up when Monjaro was $25 and now they're not. So I think the side effect profile for most people has been controlled because they go up way slower because it costs more. And they're more self-conscious about it and discussing it with their provider. Like, what should I do? In the beginning, I wrote like Zofran all the time. Now it's an occasional, like people either wanted to have it on hand and they never refill it, or they go up a dose and they've been fine. And now they have a couple of days nausea and then we're back to normal. So I think the constipation is real, absolutely. But that's if you just went on a normal diet, decreased how much you're drinking and eating, you're gonna get constipated because you have less bulk. Or you feel constipated because you're not used to going, like you were going every single day. Now you're going every 3 days because there's no food in you. Where you can't, there's nothing to poop out.
Yep, exactly. I'm going to grab Linda's real quick because I knew we were going to hit this. And I'm sure we'll hit it on Wednesday for our patients as well. So I'm laughing because tirzepatide. So there was an article posted that all Eli Lilly post 8-2 says all of their doses are now available for tirzepatide. But the health regulator, I don't know what the hell that job title is, somebody in the government says, I don't believe it. I'm with you, Linda. They won't take it. It says they won't take it off the shortage list until they are sure that the supply will meet the demand. So be reassured in that, but we may hit a point where we're all paying out of pocket for Zepbound.
Yeah, this was obviously a strategic move by Eli Lilly to start that process.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's the thing too. If everyone says, are you waving away the smoke from my incense? Just ask.
I had a bug.
I'm like, wow, that's impressive. Zoom. Look at this virtual reality.
Here.
But no, the funny part is, if so, say, for example, everyone that we've got on compounded in our teeny tiny little practice, right, says, all right, we're going to go to brand name. And everyone across the country does that. You're not going to be able to find a Manjaro pen or a Zepbound pen across the country, right? So unless they're ramping up somehow,
I can't imagine they have like this gigantic, maybe they do, a gigantic warehouse full that as soon as it goes off shortage, they release 80 million doses. Like it's a huge warehouse full of boxes and pens. I don't think they have that.
Trying to knock down compounded.
Yeah.
But guess what, guys? We're just trying to survive. I love Eli Lilly. You guys know that. I will stand behind them till the end of time. But they have to understand these are individual people out here that food was killing us mentally and physically. And we will not stand by and watch that happen to ourselves again. Short soapbox today.
All right.
Morgan, be happy. Morgan, be happy. I'm gonna grab this one. All right, just grab Vic because Vicky's supporting our cause. Saying she can't find shit anywhere. Yep, we know. I mean, that's reality, right? Because we've got what the government says, and then we got reality. Funny that election.
That's right. You can request it. There's the thread on Reddit basically saying every time you can't get it, fill out this form. Can't get it, can't get it. If you send it to 6 pharmacies, they don't have it. Even if it's a dose that has been on shortage, just keep sending it.
Yep, keep sending it. Morgan said, I've lost 7 pounds in 5 days. Is that too fast, or can you be happy about it? Be happy about it. It's intentional, right? A lot of it's really poop and water and inflammation.
Yep.
I mean, I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks, guys, because I stopped eating sugar and my body was like, thank the friggin' Lord. It's about time, lady.
Or Morgan's one of those freaks that you see on TikTok that loses 32 pounds the first month.
I lost 15.
You know?
But I lost 15, but I was literally eating everything that wasn't nailed down, right? I mean, it was like ridiculous because I was so out of control. And yes, Maribel. Hi, Maribel. If people can't afford brand, I know they can't. Now, hold on a second. You ready? It is time for the scarcity lecture. I would sell my dog because he doesn't understand English to get this medication. But see, it would only get me meds for like a month. But I would do whatever it took, just about, because I can't, I know what it's like for me off this medication. So I would hope that Eli Lilly would continue at least the 550 coupon for Zepbound if they had a supply in the pipeline, which they don't. They don't have the supply to meet the demand. Yeah. So that's that.
YL, I've reached my goal weight and I feel like I should maybe lower the dose since I don't want to lose. Yes, typically with our patients, we start to lower the dose to where they have a little bit, like where they have control, but they don't feel like they're eating everything and they're not losing. So you will start, a lot of people feel like I'm eating so much and they're still not gaining weight. Because you got to remember, like you'd have to eat a surplus. So you can kind of go down the dose, see where you're at. You're like, I think I'm eating less, and then the scale goes down again, go down again. You can always go up, like with Dr. Mo, like she's been at 5 for a while on maintenance, and every once in a while, I'm sure it's hormones. or stress or life in general, like, will make her a little hungry. So she'll bump the dose up for a week and then come back
So
down.
fine. It's just because I'm batshit crazy. I'm okay with that.
Because of stress and hormones and
Sure.
life. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe some batshit crazy, but the other stuff makes that worse.
Yeah. I baseline. I baseline batshit and then it just gets worse. But yes, I feel you guys. If I'm yeah, my ability to maintain no sugar is augmented by the medication, you know. And somebody asked, hold on. Ooh, now we're going. Of course we're going now because we only have 15 minutes left. I would work a second job to afford this. Yep.
Yeah, she was off for 4 weeks and was eating every 2 hours. I cannot be off this medicine. Yeah, and necessarily, like, you get to your goal and you drop the dose, so like it will be more affordable if you're on compound, and or like if it was me on brand name, because they got rid of compounded, I would take a little higher dose. Like if my weekly dose is 0.5, I would probably take a milligram every 2 weeks. Not ideal, you might have some ups and downs, but that's what I would probably do. Or maybe, try to get it every like 10 to 12
Or like
days.
every 10 days, do what you have to do to be able to afford it.
And you'd play with it. You're like, okay, well, I've been doing every 12 days and it's too strong. Back it down a little bit.
Right. Exactly. Sorry, I'm cleaning my coffee cup.
No worries.
Um, my daughter is thin, had horrible food noise. She has more energy, no bloating, and no inflammation. Yeah, I get a lot of haters that are like, why are you on a weight loss drug? Number one, you don't know where I started. Number two, have you not watched anything I've said over the past 2 years? Because I've had 40 years of struggle with food. I'm not doing it anymore. I mean, I still do it, but I'm going to do it in a way that I can succeed.
This is a good question from Julie.
Should I
Should I,
start? Should I
should I
start?
start GLP-1 if losing around 1 to 2 pounds a week with just diet changes, or wait till it stalls?
That's the best question. We have never had that question.
I think that's a personal choice. Like if you're going crazy, losing that 1 to 2 pounds a week, where you're constantly thinking about food 24 hours a day, you literally are putting your plate in the dishwasher and you're like, what's my next meal? I think you could have some brain space with the medications. Now, if you don't, you're like, I'm not having that problem. Wait, I don't think there's a wrong answer.
I don't think so either. I think, you know what, if I'm cruising, I'm going to save this, keep it in my arsenal, know it's available.
Yeah.
I know where to get it. Go to amstelehealth.com. Just kidding. We always forget to advertise, so I'm doing it now. Hi, Kim. Thank you for following. So you like, if it were me, right? So you always want to be the person that you were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago that you needed that wasn't there for you, right? If you go back, if I were to go back and say, 3 years ago when I was struggling and dieting and this was available and I was just afraid to start a medication, I would start it as soon as I thought about it. When I was a medical student, I asked the surgeon once, so when do you order a type in cross for a blood transfusion? And he said, about the time you think you might want to get a type in cross. And
I
that
think
was like the best answer. It's like, when do you want to start this? About the time you're thinking you might need it. Because it does do metabolic repair. And if you can get a jump start on the actual health repair, this isn't just about weight. If you can start repairing your body, do it sooner rather than later.
Well, we've had patients come to us with like a normal BMI, and they're like, they've been maintaining for a while and they're just tired of feeling crazy, like always thinking about food. They just want their brain to shut off for a minute and maintain.
Um, HS support group. What is so the question is for later on the YouTube replay. I'm in an HS support group. Do you think it would be okay for someone with HS to take a lower than 2.5 to not lose weight? Neil, what is HS?
Hidradenitis suppurativa is the only one I can think of. It might be something else, but
That's it. Okay, that's what I was thinking. But if you've got hidradenitis, take the shit.
heck yeah, it's gonna help with that inflammatory process.
Yeah.
Yep, I was right. Woo. If it's working to keep it controlled, I would drop the dose. I have a patient on 1.25 milligrams of tirzepatide for PCOS. So
Yep.
I would play with it and try to drop the dose as low as it possible that works. Just, if it's a money issue.
Yeah, we don't do micro dosing really. Like we're not going to do like 0.01,
I don't think 0.1 milligrams every 10 days is going to keep you HS under control. It's possible it does,
Okay.
I don't know if they'll ever study it that low, but
I hope, yeah. So Julie said, I think I'm just scared to start and the food noise is all consuming. Then the answer is, Julie, yeah, you gotta go. You gotta get it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Up above, Tracy saying it helped her skin so much.
Yep.
Absolutely. Um,
Or you can stay on the same dose. So if you have food noise, right? So here's the thing, it's got to be a balance. We have a patient who has food noise, but she is like staunchly against losing more weight. So we've actually increased the caloric density of her food because this is what we do with people. Like we work really hard. We've increased the caloric density of her food with the same volume so she doesn't lose weight but can stay on the higher dose. Right? So these are the things that the articles don't talk about. These are the things that people need. You don't just need a shot. You need a provider who helps you. You need someone who works with you.
it's too nuanced and it's too much for a primary care doctor to be doing with, unfortunately. He has too many other things to be worried about. But I guess if he gets rid of your diabetes and high cholesterol and high blood pressure, he can just focus on this now.
You might have more time, right? Kathy on Zoom. Hi, Kathy. How do you break conditioning? For example, the clock says it's time to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you're not really hungry, but your brain tells you it's time to eat. So that's very similar to after dinner, my brain says, oh, it's time to have something sweet. The more times you do the different thing, then you will recondition because our brains are plastic. Now, here's the difference. Sometimes you want to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner because that's how society works, right? So instead, you have a protein shake and a couple of apple slices for lunch, and then you're done. You don't eat a big sandwich and a salad and soup and, and then dessert. You say, oh, well, I'm going to eat right now. I'll eat light so that way I can, save more space. I'm having dinner with my family, or it's just really being intentional. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning because my brain was going again. And I woke up with, I'm like, oh, I got to do this, to put in school for the patient thing. I was like, oh my God, just stop and go back to bed. But we have to recondition it. And this whole thing is about being intentional with your food intake. Now, when you're living a life run by food noise, you can't be intentional because you're driven by a basic need for food. But when you've got a little bit of brain space, you can actually say, okay, so breakfast, for example, I was not hungry at all for breakfast this morning. So I did my AG1 and I did my collagen in my coffee. It's 150 calories plus, it's like 150 calories, but I got 20 grams protein. So that's all I did for breakfast. But my mid-morning snack at 10 was a protein shake. So on the days that I don't eat breakfast, I hit a mid-morning snack, and that's intentional because I don't want to go into lunch only being at 20 grams of protein. That's a no-no for me. It's a no-no for everybody. I'm not a unique snowflake,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you haven't gotten any protein today, eat your protein and don't worry about anything else. Move on.
Yeah.
Let's see here. There was a question, can you take metformin and CT together? Yes, we have lots of patients doing that, and either because they can't go up because of cost, like they're at 10, like I can't afford 12.5, and it gets them going again, it works very well, or they're maxed out at 15. Or I even have patients that kind of lost all their weight, dropped all the way down to like 2.5, and they're adding metformin so they can keep a really low dose and control costs. Carly Cashman, taking that first shot tonight. Good luck.
Woohoo. Come see us next Tuesday. We're back on Tuesday next week. What was that disease? Oh, I got it. Non-arteritic anterior ischemic optic neuropathy. Can cause sudden blindness with Wegovy. It's patients with type 2 diabetes and obesity are at increased risk. I want to know the incidence of it.
But you're an increased risk of going blind just from your uncontrolled blood sugars with diabetes, along with going, having to do dialysis and losing fingers, toes, diabetic neuropathy. Like, so there's risks associated either way. Ooh. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you're there's a couple of like about to start, scared to starts. Yeah, just do it. I'll just say do it. Hopefully your provider is very, very there for you. So if you start to have side effects, you have someone to come to. The biggest one usually would be nausea. Just don't overeat that first day, like shot day. Just don't eat too much that day or before you take your shot. Give the shot a little time of work, and then the next morning, like if you're on tirzepatide, same thing. Start the day easy and see how you do. Most people don't have problems. They just don't.
I want to read this fantastic article about that NAION thing, the rare eye disease. Volpe reiterated that although the findings demonstrate an association, much more research is needed. It does not establish causality. It does not establish danger. It does not do anything beside call attention to this and the potential need for us to think about this and study it more carefully. Patients and healthcare providers should discuss the risks and benefits of any medication in the context of the individual's personal circumstances and medical history. If I were a patient, so this is from Volpe, the guy who wrote the thing. If I were a patient that wanted to take this type of medication, I would not hesitate based on this study thinking I'm going to go blind.
Nope.
Thank you very much for someone with a voice of reason getting rid of the fear mongering. But of course, that wasn't the headline, right?
No, if it was 25% of patients that take semaglutide product go
It
blind,
was 17 out of
yes.
7,000.
Yes. And were they going to go blind anyway, whether they started the medicine or not? Maybe, we don't know. So
Right.
yeah, I absolutely would not change my decision making. I've taken it before. I don't regret taking it, and I take it again if I need to.
Yep.
Without hesitation.
How do I get my doc to prescribe it to me? Well, I could not get my doctor to prescribe it to me. So here I am.
Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah. So yeah, my provider's sitting right next to me. I couldn't get, you don't get, so here's the thing. How do I get someone to want to change, to want them? So we're leaving in 5 minutes because I do my private coaching in for the next hour. How do I get someone to want to change enough to join me with private coaching because they can get stellar results in 3 months? I don't. I'm not going to convince anybody. You're not going to convince your doctor to prescribe the medication. I'm going to find people who are ready to change. You're going to find a doctor who wants to prescribe it. You can come see us. You can go see Maribel if you're in California, maribeltelehealth.com.
Or us, amstelehealth.com. All our states are right on the website. There's like 11 of them now or something.
We are not in Colorado yet. We're working on it. We're finally at a place where we're going to start working on other states. So we will work on it. My TIA caused a vision loss, scared me into losing weight. Good call.
Yeah, because these meds help with all that inflammatory process. And if, especially with like, an occlusive stroke, like these are going to help that.
Heaven, can't wait to move up to 0.5. Talk to your provider. Because you might be able to move up early. Thanks for reminding me. I didn't take my shot this morning. Oh, hold on. I got to do the TikTok slide.
If I take Wegovy, what should I be supplementing with? Typically, we like our patients to just plain old multivitamin. It could be a gummy multivitamin, Centrum, something fancy. It doesn't matter. And then biotin for the hair. Those are the only two big ones. When you deal with constipation later on, like, there's fiber supplements, you like Metamucil gummies. Otherwise, a lot of Colace as a stool softener or Miralax to kind of help with constipation if the other things don't work. But yeah, just simple stuff. And protein. That's honestly, that's where I would.
Don't forget collagen. Don't forget collagen /
Collagen, good protein that you'll actually drink. Don't buy a 10-gallon bag or 10-pound bag. Just try some first.
Yeah, right. Try it first and make sure it's not gross. And I did the same thing. I bought my Quest protein thinking it would be as good as Devotion.
No.
I'm going to throw it out and sneak it in the garbage.
You have a Costco, it's gold standard whey by Optimum Nutrition's pretty good.
You know what though? The Devotion pancake thing, it's great for the kids. So I got to go with it. It just makes such a difference. And I'm like, it's worth the money.
I've been doing the Kodiak pancakes. They're a little higher in carbohydrates, but they're the Kodiak ones with egg and milk instead of water.
Yes. He doesn't like the texture of those. They're not quite as good. So he'll eat the Devotion ones. It's 20 grams per pancake. So I'm like, all right, go ahead. Yeah, which is pretty cool. If you want to get in on the live, guys, and private coaching, number 1, it costs money. Number 2, you got to be ready. Number 3, it's $100 off every month for life if you sign up in my next bunch of people. I do have a fair amount of spots left. And if you're already our patient at AMS, you always get $100 off for life. So it's like getting your medical care for free. So if you want to do that, just DM me success on any platform. And
Reddit.
I just pulled up TikTok. There you go on my computer. Oh shit. I'm going to get on Reddit too. Shit.
Maybe.
I'm like, my help is not in town right now. So I have to do this whole thing myself. But if you do, Instagram's the fastest place to get in. But DM me success anywhere. If you want to get in for this next hour, like coming up in 1 minute, DM me success on Instagram and I'll get to you ASAP. Next week, we are back on Tuesday at 10 a.m. So we're back to our normal time, same bat channel. So we'll see you. And then patients, we'll see you tomorrow night at 7. My coaching clients, success clients, we'll see you
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Did I say Tuesday?
Yeah, you said tomorrow, but tomorrow's Tuesday.
Oh shit, because
I know we're in the wrong day.
I'm off. We're on the wrong day. We're in a vortex. We're in a time vortex. Yes, it's Wednesday at 7 p.m. for our patients. So, all right, we'll see our patients tomorrow. We'll see the public next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Same places.
Bye, y'all.
We'll see ya. And now I need to cancel on TikTok. All right, guys, we'll see you in a minute if you're in my private coaching.